this video today, guys, we're going to be diving down into the charts and actually taking a look at 5 altcoins that are pumping right now. So even though the market has been a bit volatile recently with Bitcoin pulling back from that 69k area, and many of the altcoins in the market also pulling back along with it, there are some good stories out there. So in this video, we're going to dive down into 5 coins that are pumping right now. As we get into this video, if you do find it useful and informative, hit that like button, really do appreciate that. If you happen to be new to the channel, why not go ahead and subscribe? Tap that bell, select all notifications, and in doing so, you will be kept up to date with absolutely everything that we do here at Cheeky Crypto. Right, with all that said, done, and out of the way, let's jump on down to the desktop and take a look at these 5 altcoins that are, defying the odds and actually pumping right now. Okay guys, so as I said earlier, right, the market has been quite volatile. We have seen Bitcoin pull right back into some interestingly low areas. Again, a bit of an accumulation going on. The same with Ethereum, Cardano pulled back, for example, XRP, and many of these other altcoins in the space. Now, for the weekly numbers, they're actually looking pretty good. I mean, Solana obviously did have quite a heavy pullback, but again, it's understandable considering it's quite a nervous space to be in. Considering so many billionaires are involved with Solana, I do feel that's a bit of a ticking time bomb. But Polkadot's also pulled back on the weekly, but today's been a relatively green day, and I think that was a bit of a given. But there are some key winners that we kind of want to talk about. So the first one is Avalanche. Right now it's up 14%, right? And Avalanche are doing some really cool things in the background. For those who do not know, I do insist that you guys do some more research on this one. Ultimately, the Snow protocols and everything else going on with Avalanche is quite key, and there's a lot of things that they're working on in the background that could see this thing being one of the key players in the future. So definitely worth keeping an eye out on Avalanche. Now, when we actually dive into the charts for Avax, we can see this thing actually going up quite nicely. Today's a good green day, again taking out, or on the cusp of taking out, some new all-time highs. Let me just check. The all-time high that was set from a couple of days ago was 96.92, and right now we're at 95, so we're on the cusp of new all-time highs. Again, we can see the 4.236 extension of this one being $225, and that's on the conservative side. So again, Avax is performing well, and there's still plenty of time to see some gains with this one, in my opinion. And again, if we want to be more, I guess, in line with the way that we actually see the bull run running, we can see this thing potentially going up to $254. Okay, so Avax has some pretty interesting things going on, and the charts are looking pretty good, and I do expect this thing to be one of the most interesting projects, I guess, of 2021 in terms of everything that they're trying to get done. So really cool stuff going on there. The second coin that should be no surprise really to you guys is obviously Crypto.com and the CRO token. Again, they're doing some interesting things in the space. We've obviously seen Kronos go live as well, and basically they're looking to wrap up pretty much most things that are currently running on the Ethereum network. This again sees us with some interesting price discovery here for the Crypto.com coin, the CRO. Now, obviously, there's a link in the description. We are actually affiliated with Crypto.com. They do sponsor the channel, and they're in the link down in the description down below. If you do sign up for their debit card, you'll get an additional $25 for free to kind of get you going. Now, that's actually something that we talk about quite a bit on the channel, because we use that debit card, that prepaid debit card, to basically use our everyday expenses, right? Chris bought his car, I bought a kitchen, I use it pretty much for most of my day-to-day shopping. And as a result, I actually earned 3% cash back paid in the CRO token, which actually 3%, last week was actually a lot less than what 3% would be today. So again, it's an appreciating asset that I don't mind earning with my everyday expenses. So again, if you're not familiar with Crypto.com, they're doing a lot of fantastic things. Matt Damon obviously did the ad that basically is going to start seeing some mass adoption for crypto as a whole. They're obviously sponsoring the Aston Martin Formula 1 team, the UFC kit sponsor, and a whole host of different soccer teams as well. So they're definitely moving mountains in terms of getting the crypto name out there in front of millions upon millions of people. So they're definitely moving the needle in that regard. But they've also got their NFT platform as well, and there's some really interesting things going on with fan tokens too. So ultimately, I do think that Crypto.com is going to be an interesting place to kind of watch out for, not only just with their app that's the most downloadable crypto app that I've seen, with over 10 million downloads, I think, on the Google Play Store alone, let alone everything that's going on with iOS. But above and beyond just that, they've obviously got the exchange exchange as well. So again, if you're a trader and you want to actually get into that kind of stuff, then they also have that. So I think this is some interesting reasons why we're starting to see some price discovery with the 𝗕𝗪 token. Obviously, it's moving up quite nicely. If I actually go down to this chart here, we can, of course, see the all-time high we've been having right now, right? And this is, again, I think coming from the back of the fact that Cronos is going to utilize the 𝗕𝗪 token for paying fees, and those fees are significantly less than what you're going to find on Ethereum. So that Cronos network, I think, is another fantastic addition to the Crypto.com, I guess, suite of applications that they've kind of got running for them. So that's the second coin that's performing really well at 8.4% today in the green. And the other one that I talk about quite a bit on this channel is API3. Now, API3 is basically a spin-off, or so probably not the right way of phrasing it. API3 is an Oracle platform. Now, the team behind API3 were the top validators for Chainlink. So when we're talking about oracles, that's obviously the kind of go-to place is Chainlink, right? They do a fantastic job of bringing that real-world data on chain in an immutable way, right? Which is absolutely key when it comes to blockchain tech. Now, ultimately, API3 being a top validator at the time for Chainlink could understand exactly what was going on. Now, API3 ultimately cuts out the middleman, right? And goes directly to the ISPs. Now, this is really cool because basically it makes it a little bit more affordable and a little bit cheaper to actually bring in real-world data on chain. And again, API3 is again linked up with Cardano as well. So I think this is a project that's going to do well. It has done well today at 11.7% in the green, which is fantastic. But above and beyond that, I think longer term, I think there's a lot of work still to be done with API3 in terms of getting a lot more integrations. But once all of that kind of happens and gets across the line, I do anticipate that API3 is going to be a front winner in the next bull run. I think there's going to be some serious price discovery for this particular altcoin. So one I'm keeping a keen eye on. It is in my portfolio, and it's not a huge position, but I have got a position in API3 that I do expect to basically build over the bear market in a really strong way. I do see API3 as a good player in the space and some interesting price discovery on the horizon for this one, in my opinion. Okay, so obviously as we come down to the chart here, we can also see the all-time area. We haven't reached the previous all-time high, and things are going to get heating up with API3 in the very near future. So definitely one I think that you might want to do some more research on and keep an eye on as well. Now, there's two additional altcoins that we've got to talk about. Now, the first one should be no surprise to the channel, which is Multivac, right? Today it's moved up 7.7%. Now, Multivac, when we first got into it, it was 0.5%. It was a nice hidden gem that are definitely doing some interesting things. They're basically all about multi-dimensional sharding, and ultimately kind of bringing you what ETH 2.0 promises in a couple years' time. But, here, today, and now. Now they have recently launched their mainnet, which brought staking. They have smashed past their 1, 2, 3 billion staking targets. There has a 4 billion target currently out there. And then, of course, they have also launched their NFT platform as well, where we've seen a flurry of basically like kind of cool little niche, I guess, NFTs for the Multivac chain. Now, some of those have already been, put up for sale. There was mystery boxes, etc., etc. So some pretty cool things going on with Multivac in these very early days. Now, today, obviously, 7.7% in the green at 2.1 cent isn't too bad. It's a little bit short of its all-time high, but again, I do see Multivac moving quite nicely to the upside. As I said, a huge amount of the supply is staked. The total supply is 10 billion. Circulating right now is 3.75 billion. Whether that's an accurate number, I know that it is, according to CoinMarketCap, a verified piece of data. Whether that is actually a little bit shorter than where it is, I'm not 100% certain, but we are over 3 billion in staked. So there isn't a huge amount of supply actually out there readily available for many people. This actually means that when we start getting demand, the price of the MTV token is going to rise significantly and very, very quickly to the upside. It would not take a lot of money to move this needle. Currently, the market cap is $80 million, so very, very small and with huge potential growth to the future. So one I'm keeping an eye on is progressing nicely today, and I do have some pretty good expectations of Multivac in the near future. This then brings me on to the fifth and the final altcoin that has performed really well despite the current market volatility. And this is one that I keep buying up and I keep investing in because I really do think the use case of this particular altcoin is something that is very much required in the future. that is going to be 𝗲𝗏. Now, 𝗲𝗏 is still a fraction of a cent, currently trading at 0.0067 of a cent, right? 14.8% up in the green today, which is a fantastic move for this micro cap coin that is only $16 million in market capitalization. Currently, there are, of course, 2.4 billion 𝗲𝗏 actually out in circulating supply, with a maximum supply of 10 billion. So the supply is actually really small. Now, ultimately, 𝗲𝗏, it's an encryption app that's designed for communication. So it basically means that you can communicate with your friends and family using the same kind of technology that is behind Signal, which is basically end-to-end encryption, which is not what you get from things like WhatsApp, for example. And obviously, that data is completely private and it's basically yours, right? So when you have these conversations with your friends and family, you can rest assured that no advertiser is going to be getting hold of those conversations and trying to sell you anything. And also, above and beyond that, you can send cryptocurrencies via their multi-asset wallet, which basically means you can send cryptocurrency to your friends and family. And I think that's something that's very much needed in this space if we want to see mass adoption. And I really do like the team behind this project. It's been around for a while. I would like to see a bit more marketing, etc. from them, but I do think that this is a project that is going to start getting a lot more momentum as more and more people actually get introduced into this space. It really does simplify the process of communicating with your friends and family, and also being able to send cryptocurrency to your friends and family in a really secure way. So I do think this is a project that many people might want to do a lot more research on. And as I said, it's been around for a while. If we go to the all here on the chart, we can see that we did actually reach some pretty interesting levels up in May of about 1.3 cent. We pulled back, and we are still expecting this thing to push up to about 5 cent in this particular bull run. So it is a pretty nice ROI, just short of 10x really, in my expectations on this one. Now, even if it does fall short of that, I'm perfectly happy. I do have a pretty good position, but I still continuously build my position here with 𝗲𝗏 because I do think this is a project that's going to perform incredibly well in the future, and specifically because of the ease of communicating with your friends and family and being able to actually hold all your crypto assets in one wallet, and then of course be able to send that to your friends and family via the contacts that you actually have held within the app. It makes it very, very simple. There's no need for wallet addresses or anything like that. So I do think this is a project that's going to perform incredibly well in the future. So guys, those are my 5 crypto assets that have been performing incredibly well despite the fact that there's a lot of volatility in the space at the moment. Hopefully you have found this video useful and informative. And also let me know in the comments down below, what altcoins have you are you invested in, and do you feel that have actually performed incredibly well in this particular volatile times that we've actually seen? I'm really interested to know. And also, if you're new, then do make sure you go ahead and subscribe, tap that bell, select all notifications, and in doing so, you will be kept up to date with absolutely everything that we do here at Cheeky Crypto. Right, with this said, done, and out of the way, I'll catch you all in the next one.